Greetings, everyone from Albania, dear Honorable Founder and Chairman of World Humanitarian Drive, Dr. Abdul Basit Said, dear Director of Global Operations, WHD, Ms. Sarah Wilson, dear Secretary General, WHD Albania, Mrs. Janisa Tronigraci, dear speakers and supporters of WHD Albania that are watching this program live on WHD Media channel on our page on YouTube. Welcome to this Speak Up program. Our topic for today's meeting is European integration challenges faced by Albania. First of all, we want to say thank you to World Humanitarian Drive for being present in our country, for not giving up on humanity worldwide, for making possible this program so that we can speak up challenges we'll be facing through our integration process in European Union. I invite you all to go back in time till December year 1990, when Albania's movement for democracy started. People used to shout continuously in Tirana squares and streets, "We want Albania, same as Europe." During 30 years of transition, Albania kept dreaming this moment and lately have achieved some important results, but still has a lot to do. That's why this first program from WHD Albania will have 4 speakers who will share their thoughts about EU integration challenges. Before starting with our guests, I would like to invite Secretary General WHD Albania, Mrs. Janisa Tronigraci, to open this program. She is a medical professor of University of Gjirokastër. She has been awarded as Ambassador for Peace from Universal Peace Federation Albania, also serves as Secretary of Regional Peace Council of Gjirokastër.
Thank you, Brikena. Dear Honorable Founder and Chairman, Dr. Abdul Basit Said, dear Ms. Sarah Wilson, Director, Global Operations, WHD, dear Mr. Gani Roshi, Secretary General, Universal Peace Federation Albania, dear speakers and friends, follow the program. Greetings from UNESCO World Heritage since 2005. I would like to shortly introduce to our audience World Humanitarian Drive, an international non-profit NGO with the head office located in London, United Kingdom. It was founded by Dr. Abdul Basit Said, an international social activist who have got several awards from Universal Peace Federation, United Nations, BRIC International Alliance, etc. Vision of WHD is to promote humanity towards peace, understanding, and harmony. And its mission is to achieve peace and harmony among all humans, regardless of race, religion, and nationality. Albania completely represents itself in harmonious coexistence of all communities. WHD operates through 3 objectives and strategies, which are peace, education, and trade harmony. Regardless of being founded just a couple of years ago, WHD already has 4 movements as follows: Trade for Peace, World Moral Day, the Science Bazaar, and Honoring the Honorable. I proudly confirm that Albania have already been active in 2 movements. The first one is World Moral Day, the initiative to declare a World Moral Day to promote morality in terms of human values, which is the only way leading to a peaceful future. The second one is Honoring the Honorable, an initiative to inspire, recognize, and appreciate people who go out of their comfort zone to make life beautiful for others. The most recent event of this movement was Stars of COVID, launched on 1st of May 2020. People all around the globe were invited to nominate individuals or organizations which had influence in the betterment of the society, helping people in need, helping COVID-19 crisis worldwide in different ways. WHD got more than 1,600 nominations from 35 countries of the 7 continents. The award announcing ceremony was held last Sunday, 28th of June, live on WHD Media YouTube channel. I proudly confirm to you Global Humanitarian Awards that made us all feel proud about humanitarian spirits still flourishing in Albania and inspired us to keep striving for humanity. During quarantine, WHD did also organize COVID Times Poetry Contest, a unique global poetry contest in human history, since people from all around the globe were invited to send poems without any barrier of age, nationality, or language. WHD got 3,000 plus poems from 20 plus countries. Albania did participate on this contest with 40 plus poems, which made us very happy. The real beauty of this contest was to enjoy finding unity in diversity, since people from different countries found unity in sharing same feelings, same dreams and hope, and gave courage to each other. COVID Time Poetry Contest was about not just winning a poetry competition, but winning humanity. This was fulfilled globally. WHD already has launched 9 chapters: United Kingdom, South Korea, India, USA, Canada, Malaysia, Albania, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Our partners are International Diplomatic Club, Universal Peace Federation, BRICS International Forum, Space Kids India, and TV BRICS. WHD is on every social network, so you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can also follow our events on our YouTube channel and website, whd.org.uk. This was just a brief presentation of WHD and its activities. Said all this, I would like to go back in time some months earlier. It was first day of Southeast Europe Peace Summit held in our capital, Tirana, during October 2019. Universal Peace Federation, Honorable Dr. Hagja Hamun, during her amazing speech, saying that Albanians shouldn't be sad after being rejected to start the process of EU integration. Instead, we should act as already part of it. European Union, instead of waiting to be part of it, then start improving. In this process of getting ready for EU, it's not only Albania's government's responsibility to fulfill the recommendations of European Parliament. Instead, each and every one of us should be ready for it. Let's keep in our minds that, for sure, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, as our founder, Chen Man, continuously says to us. So this program we are doing today is one of those small steps when we reflect about challenges that are already on our way, and we get aware that it's completely our duty to find solutions, to improve ourselves and be light towers for our community. Have just voices of fair dialogue, which in my opinion is one of the core values of our society needs to assimilate. Deep in my heart, I believe that WHD initiatives are like throwing a stone in the water. After you throw it, the circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I wish this circle will expand globally and humanity will keep burning inside us as light towers in these challenging times. I am looking forward to hear our speakers for today's program. I wish you enjoy it. Thank you.
Ms. Diola Ruko, she graduated on Business Informatics, University of Tirana. Currently, she's a lecturer of Mediterranean University of Albania. She's a social activist. She initiated several supporting activities for pediatric patients and kids care centers. Thank you, Ms. Ruko, for sharing your thoughts with us. We are listening to you.
Hello, everybody. Delighted to be here with all of you. Thank you all for your invitation. European Union integration is the greatest wish of all Albanians. We are looking forward to it every day. Until now, there has been no ways about. Towards European Union integration, we face many challenges in the education system. The process of getting awareness and finding solutions will make possible continuous increase in quality of our country's education institution. An important step is to speak in public with all actors so our challenges will be well understood. I would like to talk about education system challenges and to mention some of them. First of all, I want to talk about our students. Albanian students have to pay an annual study fee, which is considerable compared to salary in our country. From this payment, they do not receive any other service like free books or access to online bookstore. Only last year started exciting the virtual library in public university and some other private university. They do not benefit any free cultural activity. They do not receive any free meal during school hours, neither a reduced price meal. Most of the days they have to be at school from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and maybe sometimes later. We do not have campuses. Only a few private universities do have facilities near the classes. Commonly, there are some private restaurants which, no matter how cheap they are still expensive for students. Students who start studying away from hometown have to pay for a dormitory or to rent a house. There are no free dormitories or scholarship to apply. I want to emphasize that we have inherited dormitory and canteen, but their quality is poor. There are some scholarships only for students whose families are in economical difficulties, but they are really incomparable with life expenses, and to apply for it sometimes is boring. I think students should have decent dormitories and canteens near the university. There should also be scholarship for students in order to get free accommodation and food. For example, scholarship for excellent students, or at least those who have higher academic results. This way, they get motivated to study harder. Another possibility may be having agreements between students and the university. So, the students benefit several services for free by working some hours at university. The second topic, our curricula. During the European Union integration process, a fundamental challenge is our curricula. To be at the same level with European university and to produce European diplomas, we need unification of curricula. Some universities have already been partly training by the Tempus project, but I think this process should be comprehensive to have a better understanding and willing to update faster from all professors and academic staff. It would be great if we could give students freedom of choice as well, in terms of choosing the subject they want to focus more on, instead of a strict studying program. The third topic, an important one, textbooks. Students at the same studying program in different universities use different textbooks because still each professor recommends his own textbooks or another author's book, which is better in his own opinion. This creates a multiple standards of our diploma. I believe it would be better to have a national recommended unified list of textbooks for each studying program, and the professor can recommend alternative textbooks depending on the necessity. Perhaps adding some more practical subject and increasing the possibility of internship will change the current philosophy. This is another challenge for Albanian students. They are offered minimal internship opportunities and minimal employment opportunities after their graduation. I think that agreements with Albanian public institutions and private companies should help students even more. The fourth topic, teaching facilities. Generally speaking, we need better equipped laboratories, more technical support for lectures, faster Wi-Fi in all classes in order to help the teaching process, air-conditioned system, etc. We have to understand that students need more practical work than theory. The last but not the least, research. Research is a worth discussing matter. Universities should be cradles by scientific research and innovation. Our current situation is a little bit foggy. We really have problems and low support, but anyway, I believe good research comes from the highly committed and professional staff. In my opinion, it would be great if we could start by teaching our students how to do research and to write about the significant topics in the order to have future specialists with basic of research. Some of academic staff, the first step should be guiding and training them about significant research and then pretending to have professional studies from them. Plagiarism should be checked by the institution and become an obligatory standard. The academic staff in Albania work extremely hard to carry out good and quality papers. I think 50% of them do it very well, and the rest sometimes do not. This happens because of as lecturers, we are very focused on teaching. I'm convinced that teaching is done even better than other European universities. From my personal and my friend experience outside of Albania, lecturers are more focused on research and their teaching hours are reduced, the opposite of system in Albania. So research needs time and focus. I think that this is going to change in the future. We hope that new PhD program will come with positive surprises soon. So every problem needs a solution, and every solution faces a problem. To conclude, I wish all actors can work in unity for a successful future of our education system. Don't forget, education system is the one who produces all the other professions, therefore deserves all our energies. Thank you all for your time and for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Deola Ruko, for sharing your thoughts with us. Next speaker is Mrs. Esmeralda Queta. She's a journalist of the most popular national television in Albania, Top Channel. She produces news about health and education topics. During year 2019, she won first prize for investigative journalism awarded from Byrne organization.
Përshëndetje të gjithëve. I nderuar themelues i organizatës World Humanitarian Drive Albania. I nderuar zonja Sara Wilson, drejtoreshe projekteve globale. I nderuar sekretare e përgjithshme Zhenisa Graçi. I nderuar zoti Gani Roshi, të nderuar folës dhe ndjekës të programit. Ju përshëndes nga Tirana. Dhe është kënaqësi që i bashkohem këtij komunikimi me ju. Mjedisi mediatik është një fushë e re e lëbrimit në Shqipëri, duke pasur parasysh që vetëm në vitet 90 u rrëzua sistemi komunist dhe departamenti i gazetarisë u çel për herë të parë në vitin 1992. Kur unë fillimisht u futa rrugës së gazetarisë, në fakt as nuk e dija se çfarë do të thoshte të vërtet ky profesion. Ishte thjesht një çështje pasioni. Ku përgjatë kësaj rrugës time, unë kam kuptuar se në të vërtetë gazetaria nuk është nga ato profesione që mësohet nga auditore apo mësohet nga tekstet e librave. Gazetaria është një profesion që mësohet nëpërmjet lajmit dhe orëve të vona dhe të gjata në redaksi. Sot 16 vite më pas, në fakt ne ende kemi shumë për të bërë sa i përket gazetarisë. Do të thoja që për fat të keq shtypi në Shqipëri ka bërë hapa pas, ashtu si edhe në mbar botën. Këtë vit Shqipëria, thënë këtë i referohem këtij fakti, në fakt këtë vit Shqipëria humbi 2 vende në indeksin e saj të raportuar nga Reporterët pa Kofin, duke u renditur në vendin e 84 nga 180 vende në mbar botën që janë marrë në studim. Po ashtu, në fakt, kjo edhe nuk është një gjë që duhet të na bëjë të ndihemi mirë, por duhet të na bëjë të reflektojmë dhe të zgjejmë zgjidhje për këtë situatë në të cilën jemi. Si gazetare jam e interesuar drejt për drejt që të kemi një gazetari cilësore të vërtet, të zgjidhim problemit dhe do të vlerësoja më shumë një qëndrim mbështetës dhe dashamirës, jo të stigmatizues nga të gjithë kahet politike. Të gjendur në një presion të vazhdueshëm dhe pre të përpjekjeve për intimidim. Shpesh herë gazetarët bien pre e vetë censurimit, gjë që automatikisht cënon cilësinë e lajmit dhe nga ana tjetër kjo është një anë, por nga ana tjetër ka plot element që hasen edhe në vendet e BE-s për mënyrën se si aktualisht ka ndryshuar mënyra se si bëhet lajm. Një nga këto është zhvillimi i vrullshëm teknologjik, e cili e buri gazetarinë tradicionale përballë një llave informacioni të mënyrës se si shpërndahet lajmi. Burimi i informacionit tashmë me zhvillimin e ri teknologjik është diversifikuar aq shumë dhe mediat tradicionale, ku këtu kam parasysh televizionet dhe gazeta, ju është hequr kurora e burimit të informacionit dhe tashmë një lajm mund ta gjesh në forma të ndryshme, në media të ndryshme, por kjo e ka bërë gjithnjëherë më të vështirë të dallosh lajmin e vërtet, lajmin e besueshëm nga informacioni, nga sensacioni, apo thashë themi që është gjithmonë e më i pëlqyeshëm. Shqipëria në fakt ka bërë hapa pas në këtë drejtim duke prekur cilësinë e produktit gazetarek, duke prekur cilësinë e produktit gazetaresk që ofrohet dhe shpesh herë harrohet misioni i vërtet i medias, që është lajmi cilësor, dhe kalohet në gara shikueshmërie, duke pasur parasysh këtu që edhe shikuesi që ndjek nuk është shumë për zgjedhës në lajmin, në informacionin që kërkon. Në fakt, ne jemi një vend që e duam median, me rreth 200 gazeta dhe revista, me 54 televizione, me 59 stacione radiofonike, me një popullsi vetëm prej 2.8 milion banorësh, Shqipëria ka një pejsazh të larmishëm edhe për sa i përket portaleve dhe blogjeve. Sipas të dhënave të deklaruara nga Autoriteti i Komunikimeve Elektronike dhe Postare, numri i total i domejneve të regjistruara në Shqipëri deri tashmë është 21.537, nga të cilat vetëm në vitin 2018 u regjistruan në domenin .al plot 5.742 domejne të tilla. Për më tepër, kjo është njëra anë e cila le të themi janë probleme që nuk përballet vetëm Shqipëria, por përballen të gjitha vendet e Bashkimit Evropian, është një sfidë e re përballë të cilën gjendet mediave. Por nga ana tjetër, media në Shqipëri ka edhe disa probleme bazike që lidhen me mënyrën se si paguhen gazetarët, që janë paga minimale, nuk respektohen orët e punës, nuk respektohen ditët e festave, ndonjëherë punohet pa kontratë e shpeshherë sigurohen me paga minimale. Duke u bërë gati për të bërë pjesë e Bashkimit Evropian, me siguri që këto fenomene do të reduktohen dhe do të përmirësohen. Por pavarësisht kësaj situate acide ku i duhet të mbijetojë, media në Shqipëri ja ka arritur që të denoncojë me sukses disa nga çështjet më të mëdha korruptive. Unë mendoj që zgjidhja për të dalë nga kjo panoramë që nuk është shumë optimiste dhe me të cilën përballen çdo ditë gazetarët në Shqipëri, është fokusimi tek gazetarët cilësor dhe sidomos tek gazetaria investigative. Ne kemi një shembull të mirë për këtë në Shqipëri, siç është rasti i Birn, rrjeti investigativ rajonal, i cili ka motivuar jo vetëm gazetarët për të denoncuar një pjesë të mirë të skandaleve që më parë flinin sirtareve të redaksive, por po kontribuan seriozisht edhe në promovimin dhe reformimin e llojit më të mirë të gazetarisë, që është gazetaria investigative, që më parë pothuajse nuk ekzistonte në vendin tonë. Do nisem nga një shembull konkret në këtë rast, personalisht së bashku me kolegën time Elisa Gjerani, një vit më parë, të mbështetur nga BIRN, ne publikuam një investigim në titullin Bebët vdesin për mungesë inkubatorësh. Ishte pak absurde që në vitin 2020 të mendohej për gjëra të tilla, por sipas investigimit në maternitetin një nga maternitetet më të mëdhenj në Shqipëri, atë Koço Glozheni në Tiranë, për shkak të mungesës së mjaftueshme të inkubatorëve, bebet prematur të cilët lindnin me sëmundje të ndryshme dhe kishin nevojë për të futeshin në këto inkubator, mund të vdisnin për shkak të mungesës së këtij shërbimi. Ministria e Shëndetësisë në fakt nuk e pranoi asnjëherë problemin, por ajo nuk e refuzoi të inkubatorët që tashmë janë dhuruar dhe janë pjesë e departamentit të neonatologjisë në këtë spital. Thënë këtë, unë do të kujtoj një shprehje të Albert Camus që citon se një shtyp i lirë mund të jetë i mirë ose i keq, por padyshim një shtyp pa liri nuk mund të jetë veçse i keq. Ne jemi më fat që po asistohemi prej vitesh nga vetë BE-ja, por edhe nga ambasada dhe organizata të ndryshme, të cilët i kanë dhënë një rëndësi goxha medias në Shqipëri. Nëpërmjet projekteve lokale, por edhe shumë projekte ndërkombëtare, tashmë gazetarët në Shqipëri, ashtu si kolegët e tyre në mbar Evropën, mund të bëhen pjesë e projekteve që ka hapur BE-ja dhe financon për mbështetjen e gazetarëve. Projektet janë të hapura për të gjithë dhe bazohen në konkurrencën e ndershme ndërmjet gazetarëve për të mbështetur dhe për të promovuar, por edhe mbështetur financiarisht gazetarët dhe gazetarin investigative. Sigurisht, media në Shqipëri është një tregëri dhe gazetarët kanë edhe disa vështirësi, le të themi, elementare në praktikën për të aplikuar për këto projekte që lidhen me procedurën e aplikimit, me vështirësinë në plotësimin e dokumentacionit dhe ndonjëherë pengesë bëhet edhe gjuha e folur. Thënë këtë, këto vështirësit janë të kuptueshme, duke pasur parasysh se kjo është në fakt një kulturë e re pune edhe për gazetarët, të cilët do të duhet të kenë atë kohën e tyre të nevojshme për ta përvetësuar. Për të patur sukses megjithatë në këtë bashkim me kolegët e tjerë të Evropës, është që ne duhet vetë si gazetarë në Shqipëri duhet të jemi më të bashkuar me njëri tjetrin dhe të përfitojmë nga projektet dhe eksperiencat evropiane. Në fund të fjalës time, unë dua të theksoj se pavarësisht presioneve, pavarësisht pengesave që mund të hasim në ditë gjatë punës tonë, pavarësisht nëse një lajm e zgjidh një çështje apo jo, mua më pëlqen të besoj që çdo ditë është një ditë e mirë për të thënë të vërtetën. Dhe sigurisht që e vërteta nuk është rruga për të thënë të vërtetën nuk është asnjëherë rruga më e lehtë, por mendoj se është e vetmja rrugë që na ndihmon dhe na shpëton të gjithëve ne si shoqëri. Ishte kënaqësi, faleminderit.
Next speaker is our chief guest for today, Mr. Ganiroshi. He is the Secretary General of Universal Peace Federation Albania, has a long national and international experience in training youth leaders, organizing community services activities. In 2019, he served as the Secretary General of the Organizing Committee of the Southeast Europe Peace Summit, which was held in Tirana, where 400 VIPs participated from 55 nations and 2,000 youth. He has served as the President of Family Federation for World Peace for 14 years.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to address this important webinar on the challenges Albania faces towards its EU integration. Special thanks to the previous speakers, and I wish great success to World Humanitarian Drive in realizing its goals. As other speakers mentioned, challenges towards EU integration are multidimensional, and many of these challenges reflect the fragile reality of the European Union as well, which we could see also during the COVID-19 pandemic, that there are so many issues to be solved also within EU. And as well, there needs to be a reform within that great organization. According to USA and the European Union, the main challenges that we should address and overcome in Albania as the preconditions to join EU in general are strengthening the rule of law, fighting corruption, economic development, transparency, and of course, free and fair elections. I'd like to address these challenges in a broader scale, actually, based on the universal principles of interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universally shared values. Since everybody is talking a lot about this long process of integration, I thought to address it in a different way. These principles, which I mentioned, apply to all levels, be it on a national level, regional level, on the European level, even world level as well. As we know very well, European Union itself was established based on a set of common principles agreed by the founding nations, which later were embraced by other nations who joined EU. However, we see now that there are certain limitations to those principles as we speak today. Let me speak briefly of each of these three universal principles. The principle of interdependence refers to establishing an ideal economic system that will end poverty and hunger in the world and guarantee the same level of quality of life for all people as members of one global family. And it has to do also with the understanding of the human value as well. A few days ago, the Universal Peace Federation organized a webinar on the future of European Union. And our speakers were the former presidents of European Union, Romano Prodi and Jose Manuel Barroso. They both shared what a great project EU is on a worldwide level as the greatest economic superpower in the world, but at the same time, how many challenges it faces. I want to quote Romano Prodi, who, when was asked why European Union is delaying so much the integration of Albania and of Western Balkans into EU, he said that he doesn't understand why EU is doing that, because according to him, EU should accelerate this process of integration. Otherwise, Albania, as mentioned by the previous speakers, will not be able to overcome the problems it has. Of course, we have to do our job as well. What is very important is that we understand that we are dependent on each other on many levels. And the economic sphere is actually the one that has broken many walls dividing people and nations. However, we know how much it has been also misused and exploited by the self-interests and the greedy politics. The founder of Universal Peace Federation, Dr. San Myung-moon, he compares the world problems with the individual. He says that the problems that we see today look so big and huge that because we see too far and don't see things from a closer viewpoint. He says that a perfect model of interdependence is that of a human body. That's why all our activities and our endeavors should reflect this relationship which happens within ourselves. Just as there are people gifted for art, scientific research, teaching, academic activities, religion, the media, or any other activities in different fields of culture, there are also gifted people for business and entrepreneurship. The business world as a whole is an organ that performs a differentiated function within the whole human body of humanity, along with other organs or institutions such as the academics, artistic, judicial, political, or religious world, which perform other functions. If the economic organ is destroyed by replacing the businessman with the political state bureaucracy, as the communists intended to do in the past, the whole body will be ruined. It means the whole nation can be destroyed. Rather, it would be a matter of clearly defining the concept of shared ownership and establishing new rules of play and control through incentives and penalties that limit family nepotism, corporatism, regionalism, and selfish nationalism. We have these issues in Albania, and other nations have these issues as well. But we have to focus on explaining and discovering this principle of interdependence. It's obvious that economic globalization has facilitated peaceful integration and cooperation among nations. However, politicians and national states often are only worried that the economy of their own nation goes well, and they are unconcerned about other nations, as we could see also during the pandemic, where basically most of the European Union states, they kind of isolated also from each other, or even from helping each other. In fact, it is economists rather than politicians who are leading the current process of peaceful integration and cooperation among nations. One suggestion could be that voluntary work among young people can contribute decisively to creating an environment of peace through fostering mutual forgiveness and reconciliation between peoples, races, or cultures that for various historical reasons harbor mutual ancestral resentments. And we see the situation within Balkans at this time. This is very much needed in our region so that we can, how to say, go ahead of time in order to accelerate the process of integration. In this regard, Universal Peace Federation is organizing a yearly project called Peace Road Balkans by bringing together young people from different countries, from EU, America, Asia, and all Balkans. They can drive together, they march together, and they do activities together to build bridges of peace between Balkan countries. I don't believe that Balkan will be integrated like piece by piece, and we have to go within EU as a whole, because the concept of EU is that member states should be part of one family, and within the Balkans we have to overcome the difficulties and challenges which come from the past. Then let me talk about the second principle, is the principle of mutual prosperity, which deals with the need for a reform of democracy in order to constitute a better political system based on the model of the family, in which the original democratic ideals of freedom, equality, and human rights are truly respected and realized. Again, the founders of UPF guide us and teach us to don't go too far. Actually, the place where we grow, when we are born as the children, is the moment when most of our information and morals will guide our lives in the future. That's why they say that the family is the school of love and peace. That's why it should be also implemented, or the whole system in a national level, even global level, should be based and should be built based on the family structure. There should be a harmony or balance between individual freedom and the purpose of serving the social whole. And this we see this disbalance of leaders, but actually in every level, from the individual to that of global level. The fundamental problem is that the conflict between self-interest and the aspiration to contribute to the common welfare. Egocentrism in leadership has become the main cause for this imbalance between these two purposes. In today's democracies, equality of opportunity is more like nominal than real. The original ideal of a government by the people and for the people has been distorted, and democracies run the risk of becoming elitocracies or partycracies. And we see very well this problem in our country, in Albania. And I think these are the main problems that we have to overcome. And then what the previous speakers mentioned, they are so true, everything. Like the problems with the media, the problems with the education. These are problems resulting from this lack of true leadership. And we see clearly the false independence of the executive, legislative, or judicial powers from the political parties and the de facto powers. I believe strongly that there is a need for moral exemplarity of political leaders, which we lack so much these times. The most important qualification of the rulers or people who are leading is the ability to work and sacrifice for the public good. Those who are elected as leaders in the public institutions, they are representing the will of people. It means they are there because people elected them to be there. And they have power given by people. So the real motivation to get such position should be that I am ready to serve and sacrifice for the improvement of the lives of the people. But the reality shows the opposite. Person in a public office must be prevented from gaining personal gains. Otherwise, they shouldn't be there. And yet we see that people often want to get a leadership position because they want to become rich. And this is so, it's a big issue. There are three moral laws, I believe, that all political and social leaders should respect. They should not violate human rights. It means they should consider each person's individual dignity. The second is no sexual corruption, including sexual abuse, harassment, crimes, or marital infidelities. This has to do with the morality of the person. Otherwise, what can you show to the people you are leading? And the third should not be corrupted materially. I mean, they should not misuse public money. We know, and then it's very unfortunate that quite many leaders do not meet this basic criteria, and the result is obvious. So we are in a long process of preparing to be integrated into EU, and this is already 30 years. And the third principle is the principle of universally shared values. This principle proposes a society and world in which people share and respect universal ethical principles that guarantee peace and harmony between nations, religions, and cultures. This needs to be applied to national level as well as the regional and world level. So we need to have a set of universal values which are true for everyone, regardless of which nation they belong, to which religion they belong, to which culture they belong. So this universal principles should be beyond these divisions. I just want to mention a few of this at the end of my speech, few of these universal ethical principles, which I think could be used then and developed to create that stability on national level, and that would be the best way for us to integrate into EU. But this also applies to EU itself and even world level. The principle of the common origin of humanity and the natural and moral legal order of the universe. There are principles there that we should be aware of, and then we should respect, recognize and respect. The second is the principle of unity and common origin of mental and material aspects. And this means that we should understand the value of ourselves, of each individual person, and respect each individual as a cosmic being. The third is the principle of harmony, unity, and common origin of masculine and feminine aspects of the whole creation. And then we should not play around with the issues that are coming up today in threatening the family. And the fourth is the principle of dignity and equality. The fifth is principle of freedom, responsibility, and creativity. And then once people know this kind of principles and value, then each person is responsible to develop its potential and by exercising the freedom and develop their creativity. The sixth is the principle of reciprocal interactions. And as I mentioned before, this interdependence, that we need each other. Whether we like or not, we are dependent from each other. So everything we do, everything we say, even our thoughts, they are a source of energy that affect people who are close to us. And then these thoughts develop into words and then later on into action. So everything it's kind of a flow of energy. And that's why the motivation behind is very important. The seventh is the principle of individual purpose and the purpose of the whole, which I mentioned also earlier, which means that people should know that they have an individual purpose and goal that you should realize, but that should be actually for the sake of a higher purpose. It means the individual in the family should put first the purpose of the family, not himself. And this will go to the all stages. That's why we like patriots, because their self-interest, it's not higher, but the national interest is higher. The principle of living for the sake of others, I don't have time to explain all of this, but these are all universal principles that everybody easily agree upon. The principle of the progressive elevation of human value. This is connected to the third principle, which I understand. I should understand my value. And once I understand my value, it means everybody else has the same value. As we say, everybody is equal in front of the law. And then the last principle is the principle of progress through cooperation, focused on a common purpose, that we belong to one family, which is the human family. That's why, similar to family problems caused by abusive parents, many problems in society are caused by the problematic leaders. That's why we should build true families, so that once the children are educated in such families, then when they are educated later on in the second stage in the schools, then they will become global citizens and global leaders by exemplifying moral standards in the world. So I hope Albania can be able to show this this model by exercising what is already have, because we oftentimes look for things that we don't have and then tend to neglect or not value what we already have. So with this, I will close my speech here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Roshi, for your valuable thoughts. While listening to your speeches, a lot of reflections and questions passed through our minds. So I would like to address some questions, please. My first question is for Ms. Sadiol Laruko. During your speech, you mentioned several positive changes that should be made in our education institutions. In your opinion, how can we start implementing these changes?
Thank you, Brikenna. Actually, I hope for more training projects and experience exchange in Albania and not only. I believe the solution is to learn from each other and from the best. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer. My second question is for Mrs. Esmeralda Queta. During your speech, we heard of several problems of media. Surely all of them need solutions, but according to your opinion, where should we start improving? Gjatë fjalimit tuaj, zonja Keta, ne dëgjuam për shumë probleme në fushën e medias dhe sigurisht se cili prej tyre kërkon zgjidhje, por sipas jush nga cili problem do të duhej ta fillonim përmirësimin?
Faleminderit për pyetjen. Unë mendoj në fakt që ne duhet ta nisim nga gazetari. Siç e dim në Shqipëri, një gazetar nuk mbulon vetëm një çështje, por mbulon disa çështje. Vetëm duke forcuar gazetarin që të mund të njohë mirë një lajm, të mbuloj vetëm një sektor dhe të shkoj përtej lajmit të thatë, atëherë jemi në rrugën e duhur. Unë mendoj se vetëm duke forcuar gazetarin në këtë mënyrë, ne nuk kemi vetëm një gazetari cilësore, por bëjmë që gazetaria të jetë edhe më pak e ndikueshme, qoftë nga politika, qoftë nga presionet e tjera në përballje të saj të përditshme. Dhe mendoj që duhet ta nisim nga forcimi i kapacitetit të gazetarit. Të falenderoj.
Faleminderit për përgjigjen. Thank you for your answer. Esmeralda said that we should start from training journalists because the majority of them have to cover several topics. As a result, they can't see through the appearances and analyze deeper the facts in search of the real news. Only professional journalists can make possible professional journalism, as least as possible affected by politics and several kinds of pressures. My last question is for Mr. Gani Roshi. According to your long experience as president of a Family Federation for World Peace and Secretary General Universal Peace Federation Albania, can you share with us your thoughts about how did Albanians behave towards universal values? Did they get awareness that universal values are fundamental for a peaceful future?
This is a very long question which needs a long explanation. I think, Albanians, I'm always emphasizing the fact that we should appreciate those precious things and values that we have, and based on them build upon and grow. And I think we have two important aspects that we can be proud on international arena, and that is the family bonds, family relationships, which in my experience, by having hundreds and hundreds of young people coming from all over the world, but not only young people, when they see family relationships here in Albania, they are surprised in a positive sense. But because we live here, we don't realize how great they are, even though there are many issues and problems, and it's under attack. And this we should use this jewel stone that I consider to build upon that, because I also say that often one of the reasons maybe Albanians could survive as a country until now was not because of the great political leaders that we had throughout history, centuries or millennia, but maybe because of the strong family relationships that we have. And the second value that I think we should be proud of and develop and invest more on it is the interreligious harmony within our country, which many countries of the world unfortunately lack. And we should not promote it actually internationally, not only that, but also work more here inside to strengthen this treasure. And then, of course, then we have a lot of other issues. So it's not easy to really apply universal values if you are not aware of them. So I think it's our responsibility to promote more universal values, and then as we are doing today, invite more people to join together. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer. I'd like to hear a vote of thanks from Secretary General WHD Albania, Mrs. Janisa Tsunigraci.
Thank you again, Brikena, for kindly moderating this program. I would like to especially say thank you to our founder and chairman for being present at our program, also for supporting every we are taking, and the humanity that inspires us. I would like to say thank you to Sarah Wilson, also be our chief guest, and thank you especially for your inspiring and thoughtful speech. I would like to say thank you to my dear speakers from Albania. I really appreciate your work and the support you are offering to WHD Albania.
Thank you everyone for following this program. Looking forward to positive developments in Albania and to more fruitful activities from World Humanitarian Drive. God bless you all.